Okay, right. Welcome back to the session again. So let me continue with the explanation I'm giving to you in the last class. Okay. Okay, for Saurath or whatever, whomever have this doubt of constructor overloading, that's a good aspect that we need to look into. It's like function overloading itself. So if you understand this, you can also overload a function. It's very easy for you to overload it. Let me go inside this explanation. Yeah. Yes, Saurit, I think, second. Yeah. Are you able to hear my voice clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, just look into this one. This is C++ program. So this is a class demo. We have two variables. And of course, in C++, if you just give it like this, it comes under private, and you need to keep public or something. Okay. If you just do it like this, it by default goes to private. There is a small difference between Java and this. Sometimes I too confuse, but I hope this is correct. Okay. And coming to this, you can see this is called a constructor in C++. This is like our equivalent, like just writing pass with self inside and just writing pass there. It's like without any parameters or arguments and without any code, we open the brackets and close the brackets. This we simply make it like this also. This is a default constructor. Just nothing is there inside it. This is called a parameterized constructor. So where we have done some code here, that means we are trying to give x is equal to a, whatever that has been attained here, like the same way, right? We used to write that self dot x is equal to a, self dot y is equal to b, like that in Python, right? The same way. So this is possible in C++. You can see that constructors are with the same name as your class name. It's not like init. And because function overloading is allowed in C++ also, the same function name with different parameters are considered. And the reason why I will tell you. Here you need to understand that we are clearly giving integer, but there might be another constructor which also accepts float, which only accepts float. So you can say something like float and float. Because we are clearly giving the variables data type, it can distinguish between the demos. But I don't think in Python, you just write A and B. So it cannot identify whether A is an integer or B is an integer or a float or something. So multiple values cannot be passed. If you are only expecting float, how do you know that it is float? And how do you divide them into different functions with the same name? So that is the reason we have different process when considering C++. So in Python, the process is different when compared to C++. Just you are seeing into the C++ way of defining the constructors. This is called default constructor. So here in C++, we have the comments like this. Default constructor. This is called parameterized constructor. Okay. And whenever you are declaring some object in the main function, that object, if it is having some parameters, this demo constructor will be invoked. If it is not having any parameters, then this will be invoked. For example, without parameters, something like this, I can say demo d. So this is how the objects are declared in C++. Okay, it is same like you are defining int a, right? So int is a class and the a is a variable or an object of the class called int. We are actually invoking something like a default constructor. But sometimes we can also do it like this. Maybe we can do demo d of 2 comma 3 also can be done, implicit or explicit. There are two ways to have it. So in this case, you will have this parameterized constructor invoked. But in Python, let us see how we can do it. In Python, we can write only one init function, only one constructor. And you might ask me, sir, how the functionality can be decided? In C++, we have different constructors. You see, this is one constructor in the 7th line. This is one constructor in the 9th line. And this is another constructor in the 15th line. So we have all separate constructors and separate functionality. We can write on your own. Now I have this is what I am developing, right? The simple image. I have two things to do it now. One is I might give a value inside it, or sometimes I just create a simple image like that. So I can also do it like this. So just look into this. I can say image2 is equal to simple image. I can just create like this, and later on I want to create it like blank. So I will say simple image2 dot blank. So I might use like this, right, with the width and height. So I might give something like 255 comma 255. This is a blank image I am creating. So that means an image frame with all white pixels will be appearing by default. You can see if you come to blank, you see how I have created a new image with white color pixels will be created. And that can be shown. You see, now I will do it for you. Image 2 dot display. See, this is not any image. So this is already a pre-existing image which I want to pass it on, and I want to read the pixels. I want to, in this line number 60, I am creating a new image which is not actually anything, but it's just a new image. It's not a pre-existing image. I want to create a frame with all pixels with some color. So I'm just sending it like this. So I'm saying blank 255 something and display. That's all. Now let's see what will happen here. Yeah. So you can just see that a blank image of just yeah. Yeah, you can see this is a blank image that I have just created. It's 255 by 255 pixels. So this is how it works actually. So this is already existing. I want to read the pixels of an existing image, but I want to create an image with 255 by 255 pixels. Then what does it mean? What is this 255 by 255? Can anybody guess? Any guess from your side? I'm waiting.
So the size of the
Yes.
image,
Tell me again.
size of the image,
Yes, size. How do you consider the size?
Length and width, sir.
Yeah, width and height is nothing but the number of pixels that are there. See, just see my mouse movement. The number of pixels that are there. So this is height actually. So when I'm moving the mouse, it is the number of pixels my screen can display. And when I'm moving the mouse horizontally, this is called width of my image. So the number of pixels here, it's like your matrix only, the number of rows and number of columns, right? You measure like that. The same thing happens here. The width in the sense, the number of columns that you have in your image, and height in the sense, the number of rows that you have in your image. So same thing, like if you can see, this one is, yeah, this one is the height and this one is the width. So width consists of the columns here and height consists of the rows. So those many pixels are there here. You can, if it is counted, there are 255 pixels in the height. That means there are 255 rows and there are 255 columns. And each pixel is filled with a color white. That is the reason why a picture white appeared. So see the difference between them. This way you are passing a parameter inside a simple image using already existing image. And here you are not passing anything. Then what to do? Because if I create only this one, it always expects a name inside it, a parameter inside it. I think you are able to understand. But here I could not give anything because I have no image at all at present. I have to create it still. Without creation, how I can say the name of the image? First I want to create it, then I want to store it. Okay, for store I can say image2.store. I can give some name as a parameter. It's my wish. Whatever name I want, I will give it. Okay, so you have two constructors here. One is a parameterized constructor you are using to create an object. The other one is a default constructor you are using. Now, I need to have multiple constructors, but it is not like C++. So what I have done, I have used something called star args. So star args is something like it can hold a list of arguments. It can hold a list of arguments. So it can be 2 parameters, it can be 3 or 100 parameters, it can accept it. And we have to write our own code, how we define it. For example, I can write like this. If else if length of args is equal to 1, then do this. That means if I send the name of the file, because the file is already existing, so args length will be 1. If it is 1, it will execute this code. If args length is 0, that means I have no files pre-existing. I am using default constructor. I want to use default constructor. Naturally, the length of the arguments will be 0. So it will just pass. So nothing will be done. And it is just created. An object is created with the default constructor, and remaining things you can do whatever you want. So this is the way you can use multiple constructors. Constructors with parameter and constructor without parameter, that is the default constructor, in the same code. Understood, or any doubt in this?
Got it, sir.
Okay. So always try to remember, when you use star args, you can use it at any time, any function you can use. For example, you might be thinking like, I want to add number of things. Okay. In C++, we used to define like this. You see how I generally used to define. So in C or C++, basically, if you have two numbers, int A comma int B. Okay, do something in the code. And then again, add of int A, this time 3 numbers, int B, int C. So this is how I can do it. And the next way, int add. So this is how we can write in C++. So we want to define the number of parameters, int D. Of course, the star args is there in that also, but still I am showing you that this is possible in C++, but it is not possible in Python. So for Python, I simply write a simple code like this. You see, definition add of star args. That's all I will give. So now what I will do, I will just put a colon and write something like, if length of args is equal to 2, the same above code I am writing. Then return args of 0 plus args of 1. Because 2 parameters are coming, right? So it's an array holding 2 parameters. So the 0 will be the first value, 1 will be the second value. So next I will write elif. So this is a function overloading that you can do. That's the example I'm showing you. Length of args, yeah, it's correct. 3. If it is 3, then return arcs of 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus arcs of 2. Simple, right? If it is 4, then what you will do? Else if length of arcs is 4, then you will say return 2 plus arcs of 3. See how easy it is. With one function, you with just measuring how many parameters you are passing, you just write down that functionality. So based on the length of the arcs, it will give you the return value. It's so easy, right? Without defining the functionality again and again and writing like this in C++ or C. At C, it is not possible. Of course, it is possible in C++. It's very simple that in one function using else if statements, we can write it. We can overload a function like this. It's very good to write the code like this. I hope you understand how you can use multiple constructors and also how you can use multiple functions with the same name. So this anyway, after developing, I will also pass this file to you. You can modify it with much better aspects. I will also encourage that. Yeah, somebody is calling me, please. Saurith, are you saying anything?
No, sir, I was saying got it.
Okay. So understood. Anybody has any doubt in this? Anybody got any doubt in this? So this is the best way you can see. You can try out today, see how the arcs will work and print out all the things. You just pass 2-3 values into that and you just print out like that. So the simple technique, I will tell you how you can do the same example earlier. So definition, add of star arcs, you can just say, okay, write some code in between, whatever you want to write. And if you are calling this add, so you can simply say add of 2, 3, it can accept add of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Innumerable numbers can be accepted. How many numbers you want, you give it. The arc's length will be that. So in this case, the arc's length is 2 because it is only having 2 numbers to be passed inside it. So in this case, the arc's length is 7 because there are 7 numbers passed into arcs. So arcs of 0 will be 2, arcs of 1 will be 3, arcs of 2 will be 4, and so on, like your array. It works. So you can just check out this one and try to do this as an exercise later on. I will not give you officially, but you can try out. Okay, this is the one I want to speak about, and I promised you that I will tell you about the special functions. With this, we have a glance about object-oriented programming. You have learned what are classes, what are objects, what is private, public, protected, and how you can overload an operator, how you can override something. So please try to practice it. I will also try to fetch number of exercises that I have and give it to you. I think if I ask you to write the image processing programs also, I think it will be much easier for you to learn Python, because you are really interested with the real-time aspects, I hope. Because you can work with images, that's an interesting aspect. Rather than just writing print that, print this, try to bring out your own rectangles, squares, circles, draw your own shapes, work out with the images with the library I give it to you. Okay. Right, let us go into strings. So this is a function which is a special function. Why it is not giving any colors? Oh, it is giving, fine, no problem. So it is a special function. Let us see what are the special functions that are there in our PPT. Yeah. So this is actually a special function that we have. So first we have this str. Let us look into str. So what exactly is str? Str actually returns everything as a string. Let me create my own string class, and I will make you explain what is that and how it works. So what is the predefined string class that we had? Can anybody tell me what is the name of the predefined string class? Array, what is the name of the predefined string class? If I type s is equal to Kranti, if I type a type of s, what is the answer will you get?
Class str only, sir.
Yes, the class is str. Remember this. So let me exit, clear, and Python 3. So s is equal to Kranti. If I give type of s, what it gives? Class str, right? Str is a class that has been predefined. So naturally, if I print s will be printed like that. Now I want to write my own class like string string. Okay, this is not a class. This is a class in Java, but I want to define as Java the string itself. Let me see how it will be defined. I will write my own code using str. I will do this with a much more enthusiasm. Okay, class string. Okay. At present, I want to pass it. So I will write the code later on. Let me see how I will declare the object. So I am following the same thing. If name is equal to is not equal to its comparison main, and then call the main function. Okay, very good. Now call it definition main. Okay, this is the first function to get executed. Now what I will do is string. Okay, I'm sorry. S is equal to string of Kranti. So this is what I want, and I want to print s. Okay, the same thing. Now let's do the same thing for the str also. So how it will be finished? Like just s is equal to Kranti. I have given right earlier. I can also give it like this: s is equal to str of Kranti. Yes, it is accepted, right? And when I print s, it is printing Kranti. The same thing. But I am using predefined class. Now I want to define my own class called string. Now let me write a code for this. Now whether it is default constructor or parameterized. First, in this case, based on line number 12, can you tell me whether it is default constructor or parameterized constructor?
Parameterized, sir.
Yes, it is a parameterized constructor. The reason we have a parameter here, self dot string that we are receiving. Okay. Let me keep only st. Otherwise, maybe it might be sometimes case sensitive. We don't know. Now we got st, right? And say self dot st is equal to st. This is what we got. So we are giving like this. Now the Kranti is stored in our particular string. Fine. Kranti is stored in the memory of the object called s. Now that is the reason why you will understand now why we always say reference variable, because s is pointing to a memory which is nothing but Kranti. So s is pointing to a memory of an object which is storing Kranti as a value inside it. It's a set of characters. Now let's define the special function definition str self, and now we just say return self.st. That's all. Return self.st. Let's check out whether it is correct or not. That's the special function that we have. So we have our class. First, the class will be created with two functions, init and str. And remember that if I am writing underscore underscore str underscore underscore, do you think that it is the name is defined by me or predefined name? That is
Redefined, sir.
predefined. Everybody has to understand that if the names are given by me, I never give underscore underscore on both sides. Their maximum, they're at max provided by the Python itself, that it is compulsory, so that the interpreter will understand what to do with that function. Otherwise, it doesn't understand. So if you just write something like string or something without these underscores, and if you try to print s, see what will happen. First, we will try to execute this one and do it. Okay. Now we got to our main. String is being created. And in the line 6, we are giving the value, and you can see that Kranti has been given, and string instance was also given, of course. Okay, see this, it is getting as an instance. Never you have seen like this, right? The Kranti has been given on top. Now what will happen? The reason is we are providing str in the line number 8, so it is remembering that when I call this object, this one should be returned immediately. Only if I call this object, this one should be returned immediately. You see. That's all. So have you seen the Kranti has been printed? So now our compiler, sorry, interpreter will understand that if S is called, I need to first go to str. There is no need for you to call the function. If just S object is called, it will directly go to str. That's what the function's identity is. So it looks like whenever you are trying to print an object itself, it will fetch for underscore underscore str what you have written. That's what written in the Python compiler. So the interpreter goes for fetching where underscore underscore str is there. Once it finds, then it executes the lines. If underscore underscore str is not there, then this 18th line called print of s is given as an error. Let's go back. Let's see what will happen if we remove that one. Okay, let's execute it. So unindented. Okay, sorry. Okay. Right. Okay, man, I will remove this one then. But right. Let us see. So okay, so it is created, but have you seen anything? See the modification here. You did not find Kranti on top in the box. So because we did not mention str. So remember, str is something like underscore underscore str underscore underscore is a function which collects all the values of a particular object, and it keeps ready to be printed as a string. I will also tell you another example where you can identify that. Not only the string type of example, I will go for numbers also. See, it is only printing the object, but it did not print the value. Have you seen here? See the screen. It is only printing the object. So object reference ID it is printing because S is having this reference ID, but it is not at all printing the name. So you might ask me, sir, I don't want to use that underscore underscore str. I want to use different. Okay, that also we will see. Okay, str is a predefined, so I'm changing the name. strng, I will do it. Self. And I will say return self dot st. Now we will see what will happen. So after creating the object, you still see that there is nothing. Now in the 14th line, we are print s. What it is printing? Never it has gone to this line called strng. So that means what happens is whenever it sees the 14th line, the interpreter is indirectly fetching for underscore underscore str. If it is not there, it is directly printing the reference ID of the object. But now we will write again the underscore underscore str and see what will happen. It should definitely print the return value that is coming here without the object's ID. See, it came to the 8th line, now 9th line and return value, and print will print Kranti. And you can see here, see the box on top. It is holding all the values as their instances values. Though you are having this Kranti as mentioned, but still it is trying to print something. If str is there, see the difference. If underscore underscore str is not there, the box is not always there. If underscore underscore str underscore underscore function is there, then the box appears. Now I will just modify a little bit, you see. Maybe I want to create value. So in this case, in the earlier case, I have created my own string. I hope you understand. The same way I am printing, right? So how I have defined this, how I am using this predefined class, I have defined my own class called string with capital S. So I can define my own string class and I can write from there onwards, I can use it. Not a big problem. Not every time I need to use str. Okay, I hope you understand that string string with capital S is actually in Java. The data type is in Java, but in Python it is removed and only str is given as a class name. So if you are really accustomed to Java, you can directly use that one. So how I have used it? I have used the same way, right? So string, I have done it. I have created my own string class. You can try it out later. So here I want to pass two values, 2, 3. And I want to print the value. I will put V here. Here also V. And here I want to receive A, B. So I will say self dot X is equal to A. Self dot Y is equal to B. So let us see what will happen now. So return, I will say self dot X and self dot Y. I think these are two integers, right? We need to convert. String always returns the whole thing as a string. You need to convert into str. That integer values are converted into str. Are the two stored values. This is what I want to return as a statement. So this statement indicates that whatever value that is there in self.x, so that and that are the two stored values. That's what I want to print. Let me execute this one. So my instance will be created with 2. And have you seen already this is ready? 2 and 3 are the two stored values. It is ready now. And by the time we print V in the 15th line where the red mark is there, it will directly go to the 9th line and return the statement which will be printed now. You see, before printing, it goes to that line and tries to bring back the return value and then print. So this is now printing. So when it sees print an object, it will first fetch for this type of function. If it is not there, it will print the object reference. If it is there, it will print what the return value is. It will bring back the return value and print it in the line number 15. That's what you need to understand. What is that -str? So if you want to print all the values in your object as an answer in a single phase, then you can use -str. That will be quite good. Any doubts in this or any experiments we need to do? If you have any doubt or experimentation, I will do it along with you so that we can have the doubt clarification done. with practical nature.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, here like we used only str function, sir.
Hmm. Hmm.
If there is another statement like define add
Hmm.
underscore underscore add underscore underscore.
Okay. Hmm.
So then like in the define main, if you want to use only str, then how to?
In define, you want to use only str.
Yes, sir, like in the below.
No, you can use it like this, right? You are using, and I am also writing some add here, some functionality. I could not understand your doubt, Mehak. Mehak, is it Mehak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I
So
could
now
not.
here like v is equal to, sir.
Yeah, tell me, tell me.
So v is equals to value of 2 and 3 we have written here. And there is another statement, some s is equals to something other value.
Mehak, can you type and share your screen so that I want to look into that, what you want exactly?
Okay, sir.
Uh, should I copy and paste it in your chat box?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm pasting it to everyone. Just Mehak, you take it from the chat box, which I have just given to you. And when you paste it, whatever you want to type, you type and share the screen. I want to just look at it because the voice is not clear from your side. I don't know whether it's my internet problem or yours. In the meanwhile, if people have understood and no experimentation to be done in this case, you can continue doing your exercise.
Sir, will you enable screen share for everyone?
I will do it. Yeah, I have done it, Mehak. You can share the screen.
Sir, something like this.
Mm-hmm. Sum of 5 plus 6. Where is that sum? That sum should be a class, right? When you are saying something like s is equal to sum of 5 plus 6, is it a function or a class that you are talking about, that sum?
So there must be a class created for that sum, sir.
Okay. Yes, that's correct,
So,
right? There should be a
okay, sir.
class, or see, I am expecting something like this. If sum is a function, it is having two parameters and it is adding and returning it, and that return value will be assigned to s. Or I am expecting the other way. If sum is a class, it is accepting two values into it, and s is an object belonging to the class called sum. So what is your opinion about this? So if what you are thinking about, do you want sum to be a class? Exactly what's your doubt? See, actually that underscore add is only used for operator overloading, Mahak. I think you are understanding that. Okay. And in your case, I think that you want to add two numbers and present it as like a string. That's what you are trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understood now. I understood now. Okay, I will write the code for that if possible. So I will create two objects and I will add them with their single values. I want and you want me to print that. Okay, we will try out for that. We'll try it in a different way. Let's see. So I'll give one value for each. So in it, so I will return only the added one. Okay, I will give something like answer is equal to also. Let me check like this. So I will return str of answer. Sorry, self dot answer, and I will get an object here objet something, and I will do something like self dot answer is equal to self dot self dot what we say a plus sorry objet dot a. So I'm adding and I'm just giving it into the add. So here what I will
It
do
should be
is
self dot x, right?
it should be self dot x. Yeah, thank you. So x. So answer will be like this. So I will create two things like v1 is equal to value of 2 and v2 is equal to value of 3. Okay. Now what I will do is I will do something like v1 is equal to how I can do it. How I can do it. If I add this one, then answer will be there, right? So I'll just do something like this. V1 plus V2. I'm doing this statement. If V1 plus V2 is done, it's nothing but I will write the comment also. Okay. So V1 dot uh, underscore add underscore V2. This is the thing. So what will happen? 2 and 3 will be added and V1's answer will be filled with 2 plus 3. That means 5. And now I want to print V1. So this will print the answer. You see, because I'm only returning str of self dot answer. The answer is 5 in V1, right? In V2 is nothing is filled with because we are sending V2 to V1's object. We are adding V1's x and V2's x and giving it to V1's answer. Okay, this is the reason. You can understand clearly. You can take a screenshot and analyze it if you are not understanding here right now. So because in this case, V1 will be the self, whatever the self, that means it is V1 space and V2 will be the object here. So it is a guest here. So V1 will be the self and object will be V2, the guest object. So adding these two, we are fulfilling the answer of V1 and hence V1 can be printed so that see what I am doing. If V1 is called str underscore str is called and hence you see that answer will be printed as a string. Let me check out whether it works or not. So two objects will be created, one object with this. other object. So answer has been populated with, so printing v1, and you see that 5 has been already given there and str is called. So finally, when you are printing v1, str will be printed, right? I hope, Mehak, this is what you have asked, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can use all the special functions very easily. So it's all your customized things. So if you understand what is what, so you need to understand that this function prints whatever values of an object you want to print as string, and this will be invoked when you say print of object. So if you are trying to print an object, this function will be invoked. When it is invoked, whatever you are trying to return, that will only be printed when you are trying to print an object. Okay, remember, it's also like overloading an object print. So you can print an object a which is belonging to an integer, right? If you are giving a is equal to 6 and you say print of a, it will work. If you say s is equal to Kranti, and if you try to print s, it will work. But this is an object. It's actually user defined object. How does it know what to do with this object if you are trying to print that object? So this is where you are saying what to print when you are trying to print an object. In the primitive data structures or primitive classes, if you are trying to print a, it understands because the code is already written. If you try to print a, its value will be printed. Here, if you are trying to print v1, what does it do with that? It's belonging to no non-primitive or primitive data structure, what we say classes. So it actually belongs to user defined class. So the user has to define what to do with that. Understand clearly. It's like equal to print a. Print a. So here a is an object and here v1 is also an object. But v1 belongs to our class called value and a belongs to the class called integer. Okay, but it does know what to do with print a statement, but it doesn't know what to do with print v1 statement. So for that we are asking it to do this one. So it's also like overloading. The same way, it can add a plus b if a and b are integers, right? But it cannot do what to do with v1 plus v2. How does it know what to do with v1 plus v2? Because plus is trying to add two objects. So that is the reason we have defined what to do using add. So these are called the special functions. So the names should be always the same, but internal functionality might be changing according to your purpose. I hope you understand these things. Any doubt in this? Any doubt or discussion you need about this?
No, sir.
Okay, understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sir, I'm having doubt in that tsunami problem, sir. Like, I'm not getting the desired output yet.
Have you printed everything? Have you
Yes, sir.
printed
Yes,
the
sir.
values?
Yes, sir. I've done that.
Okay, just
There also,
pass
I'm not getting the desired.
okay, you have anyway passed the code to me, right? I will test and get back to you later.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we will end the class for today. Bye bye for today.
Thanks.